Welcome back. Today, I'm going to be discussing which UFC fighters have the most aura. So, whenever they're in the octagon or even outside the octagon, sometimes they're going to make you nervous. They're going to grab all that energy in the air and just get all your attention. The aura, the mystique, the mysterious. That's the same thing, but yeah, you get it. Let's get right into it, starting off with Diego Lopez. I'm going to put Diego Lopez in the B tier. Now, something about this guy. He came in the UFC, lost to Mavzar, and he hasn't lost since 5 fights in a row. Just sent Brian Ortega flying across the octagon. Whenever this guy fights, you just know he's going to come crashing forward for the finish. I don't know. Something about Diego Lopez that really grabs my attention. And whenever he's getting his name announced in the octagon, I just feel like I'm super excited, super pumped. So I'd say aura in the B tier for Diego Lopez is more than fair. Yeah, moving right along. The Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley, just lost to Marab. He had, I'd say, A tier aura just because of his fighting style, because you know how dangerous he is on the feet. But his personality has no aura. Like, he can't trash talk. He can't. He's not comfortable on the mic. It's shown at press conferences. But Sean O'Malley, just off of his fighting style, had aura. He definitely lost a good bit of it losing to Marab. But I think C tier is still fair. He is coping about the loss now, so maybe not. But C tier for Sean O'Malley was A tier. Maybe he can get it back if he somehow gets back to Marab and beats him, but I doubt it. Yep. Moving right along. Let's go with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Shavkat, I'm putting in the B tier. Shavkat, whenever you have a fighter with 18 fights, 18 finishes, you know he has to have aura. And this man, something about a dude stone face from Kazakhstan that has finished every fight in the octagon just is scary. Like whenever he fights, I'm just sitting there like, oh, the other guy's screwed. Which is the other guy's going to be Bilal Muhammad soon. But yeah, Shavkat Rakhmonov in the B tier. I think that's fair. And if you disagree, then you're wrong. I'm kidding. But yeah, let's move right along. Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett, no aura. Bro, whenever Paddy Pimblett gets in the octagon, I don't feel anything. I'm like, all I can think about is this dude lost to Jared Gordon. Like, this dude has no aura. Even whenever he beat Bobby Green, it was impressive, but didn't give me any aura for him. He's just, his accent and his haircut stops him from having aura, I say. So I can't do much about that. But yeah, Paddy, the loser Pimblett in the no aura tier. Moving on. Conor McGregor, S tier. Now we know Conor McGregor has the most aura in the UFC out of any fighter. Just the Habib fight whenever he was being announced, and just every fight. I remember when he was getting announced against Cerrone. That was sick, and he had the long hair. The Poirier fights, but in general, Conor McGregor getting announced in the octagon, and he don't have no aura outside the octagon, but in the octagon, Conor McGregor has the most aura in UFC history. Like the man just radiates energy from the crowd, and like it's just a Conor McGregor fight is like no other, which is why he's the biggest star in the sport. So S tier for Conor McGregor, easy S tier. Let's move on. Let's go with next up Ilya Taporia. I'll put Ilya Taporia in the A tier. Ilya Taporia, his aura, I took comes from his knockouts and how dangerous he is in the octagon. Like man, whenever he was getting announced against Volk, I just knew he was gonna knock out Volk. Something about that fight. You knew Volk was coming off a KO to Makachev. But yeah, in general, Ilya Taporia, whenever he's standing across the octagon, you know the Spanish Georgian, he's dangerous. He's coming throw bombs. And yeah, you can expect to knock out most fights from him. So I'd say Taporia in the A tier is fair. And he's champ now, which I think being champ gives you more aura for the most part. Not always, but for the most part. So I think Ilya in the A tier is fair. Moving on. Robert Whitaker. I'm putting Robert Whitaker in the C tier. Bobby Knuckles. Man, I don't know. Whenever he fought, what was his name? Ikram Aliskerov in his most recent fight, and then he ended up getting a knockout. Man, I think his aura just went up. Just even after he lost to Israel Adesanya, some about seeing a Robert Whitaker fight makes me just feel excited and feel the aura. Like whenever he's getting announced and he's beating his chest with the star tattoos, Bobby, the Reaper, knuckle. No, but yeah, Robert Whitaker definitely has aura, especially with his most recent wins. I know he got beat by Duplessis, but I still think Robert Whitaker has some aura. So in the C tier he goes, moving right along. Let's go with Max Holloway. Max Holloway, you know what? I'm putting Max in the A tier. I don't care. Max Holloway in the A tier. If you didn't know, he's 18-0 in the featherweight division since 2013 outside of Volkanovski. So the man has aura, especially after Starch and Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. So I'm man, the aura in the octagon whenever he fights Topuria at UFC 308 is going to be insane. Like just them both getting announced, like I'm going to have goosebumps and I'm going to be glued to the screen. But yeah, anytime Max Holloway fights, he has the Hawaiian flag, and then they're saying he's the pride of Hawaii. Something it's exciting. He has aura for sure, no denying it. So yeah, A tier for him, I think, is the right move. Moving right along, Jamal Hill, no aura. Jamal Hill never had aura, even when he fought Glover, even after he knocked out Johnny Walker. I don't know, and whenever he was fighting Alex Pereira, the dude has no aura. He just has salt coming out of his body, out of his eyes, out of his ears. No aura for salty Jamal Hill. Oh my god. How funny would it be if you saw this video and left a comment? But yeah, I think Jamal Hill can go on like a 10 knockout streak and he still wouldn't have aura. Just something about him that just doesn't like I just can't explain it. If you know, you know. But yeah, no aura tier for Jamal Hill. Let's move on. Islam Makhachev, A tier. Islam Makhachev, you know, anytime he fights, brother, this guy, who give this guy black belt, brother? We need to check this. But yeah, anytime Islam Makhachev fights, there's aura against Poirier. Whenever he fought Charles Oliveira, that was like some of the most aura in the octagon, just because the matchup was so intriguing. You had like the wrestler who could take you down and submit you versus the submission king. So yeah, something about a lot of fighters from Dagestan, something about them. They always have aura. Habib had it. Now Makhachev has it even more, in my opinion. I think a lot of the aura from Makhachev is that you know he's like dangerous and he's like the best fighter in the world right now. So I think you know something about like having the pound for pound fighter and most number one pound for pound fighter in the octagon fighting, and just he's Russian and he hasn't lost in 10 years. Like there's something about that that gives it more aura than normal. So yeah, A tier for Makhachev. Moving right along, John Jones, C tier. Now John Jones used to be A tier, I'll be honest, but ducking Tom Aspinall definitely has knocked him down to C. He used to be A tier, but nope. Can't have John Jones in the A tier anymore if he doesn't fight. He has one fight in 4.5 years. And just the whole thing of him ducking Tom Aspinall and Dana White glazing him has taken away from his aura. John Jones used to be A or even S in the octagon. He has cold quotes. He's a obviously he's one of the best, if not the best fighter ever. But yeah, man, you got to fight or that aura goes away. And when you got Dana White glazing him, I can't. So C tier for John Jones. Can't wait for the casual takes in the comments. Moving on, Alex Pereira, easy S tier. This man has the most aura in the UFC right now. It's not even close. Him coming to the octagon with his bow and arrow and just and then he gets in the octagon and he's just stone faced while he's being announced, and just his fighting style. You know he has a huge left hook. Watch a Alex Pereira fight and tell me when he's getting announced that he doesn't have aura. This man has the most aura in the UFC right now. If Conor McGregor comes back, maybe he could take it back, but for now, I don't think so. I don't think Conor McGregor is the same guy. So Alex Pereira in the S tier. But I'm still going to give McGregor that respect because he does have aura. But yeah. Moving right along. Tom Aspinall. I'm going to put Tom Aspinall in the B tier. I don't know. Tom Aspinall has aura because you know he's going to finish the fight. He has the shortest average fight time in the UFC. But I don't know. He doesn't have like a crazy amount of aura, just a little bit. Maybe it's because he's from Britain, and I don't know. I struggle for Brits to have aura in general. Maybe it's because of their accent, but Tom Aspinall in the B tier. whenever he fights, he's super fast, and you just can't blink because you know if you look away from the screen, you might miss a KO. The man knocks everybody out. He's proven it. Who hasn't he knocked out in the UFC? He's finished everybody. Andrei Arlovsky, he subbed him. Alexander Volkov, he subbed him. But yeah, you get it. Tom Aspinall, he's probably going to put your lights out, so he's in the B tier. If he fights John Jones, he puts John Jones' lights out. Haters in the comments going to say he doesn't, but yeah, moving on. Israel Adesanya, C tier. Whenever Adesanya was champ, and right after he knocked out Robert Whitaker, I'd say, and a few defenses into his title reign, he definitely had some aura. He would do the cool walks to the cage. He had like the anime fighting style and the last style bender. So Adesanya has created some aura for himself, but losing the fights he's lost recently, losing to Drickus, he's definitely lost some of that aura. And just the cringe one-liners he says at press conferences, you can't take this man serious. So Adesanya in the C tier. Yeah, let's move on. Oh boy, one of my favorite fighters. Psych. Bilal Muhammad in the no aura tier. Bilal Muhammad has no aura. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if you can't finish a damn fight, you don't have aura. Bilal Muhammad has one finish in UFC, maybe two. The dude, like, you know, if Bilal Muhammad fights, it's a guaranteed decision. Like, it just is. And I don't know. He's the most boring champion right now. People can say what they want. Him, Pantoja, and Marab, three most boring champions. So, yeah, Bilal Muhammad gets in the octagon. I'm not feeling the aura when he talks at press conferences. I'm not feeling it. Like he just, oh man. Like I'm more likely to fall asleep during a Bilal fight than I am to stay awake, and that says a lot. So let's just move on, dude. Oh goodness, Yuri Prohaska. I'm putting Yuri in the B tier. Used to be A tier, but after taking a couple knockouts to Alex Pereira and not having that undefeated record in the UFC has definitely taken away from some of his aura. But with the hair and the octagon, the samurai hair, and the just samurai mindset and the way he looks, and he's from Czech Republic, and you know this dude like sits in a room in darkness and trains. Like there's got to be some aura around that, and there is. So watch the Yuri versus Alex Pereira one fight, the stare down. That there was so much aura in the octagon. So I say Yuri in the B tier for aura. Definitely used to have more, but knocked it back a few last few losses. So let's move on. Next up, I'm going Ian the P head Gary. Ian Gary has no aura. He just doesn't. Like, bro, your wife's ex husband's your nutritionist. He turned you vegan and he's smashing your wife. Like, I don't know what else to say. That right there makes your aura negative. And then he turned into a grappler against Michael Page. I don't know, man. Something about Ian Gary from The Voice, from the Conor McGregor wannabe. I don't care if he could be 50-0 in the UFC. The dude just don't have aura. He has a P head. He just doesn't fit the part. So Ian Gary in the no aura tier. And that's what I'm sticking with, bro. Damn. Let's move on to another fighter with no aura. Jelton Almeida. This dude has no aura. I don't care if he can submit everybody in the heavyweight division. He has no fucking aura, man. Like whenever I see Jelton Almeida get announced, who cares, bro? You know he's gonna shoot a double leg and try to freaking nut hug you for 5 rounds. Like, geez, like he did to Derek Lewis, like he tried to do to Curtis Blades and then got smoked. Oh, I'm not saying he's not good. He just has no aura, dude. Jelton Almeida, no aura tier. That's all the time I'm spending on him. Moving on. Hamzat Chimaev. I don't care if he's been inactive and he's pulled out of fights. The dude has the most aura in the first round I've ever seen by any fighter. Like, bro, whenever he was getting in the octagon and he was like on his knees about to fight Usman and he did the eyebrow raise thing, dude, that sent goosebumps shiver down my spine. Because all you could think about is, man, is this man going to march across the octagon and submit Usman? And he almost did. But yeah, Chimaev, just the look, I know he had more aura in the past. I still think he's S tier. Like I don't care if he hasn't fought or he doesn't fight. Sure, he used to be like the most aura in UFC history, maybe even above Connor, just because of how scary he was. He's definitely bottom of S tier now, but because he doesn't fight and he doesn't have all finishes in the like crazy finish time anymore. He went to decision with Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns. I mean Bilal Muhammad, Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns. So yeah, his aura has definitely went down. But let's see if he marches across the octagon and takes down Whitaker and submits him immediately, then that aura is back, baby. Moving on. Alessandro Pantoja, no aura. I can't. This man has no aura. I don't think flyweights can have aura. Like they're just so tiny, bro. Like just like whatever Demetrius Johnson, respect, bro, for a legendary career, one of the best fighters of all time. But DJ had no aura, bro. Alessandro Pantoja has no aura. Like, because you can't have aura if I don't care to watch your fights. Yeah, that makes me a casual, but bro, I just don't get that excited for flyweight fights. Like what Pantoja can fight anybody in the top 15 right now, and I'm just not that excited about it. So that alone is going to give him no aura. Moving on. Last fighter in the no aura tier, Movsar Evloev. Movsar, I'm sorry. I already know I'm going to get a lot of shit in the comments for this one. Bro, Movsar and no aura tier? Dude, are you stupid? He was undefeated in the UFC. I don't care if he's undefeated in the UFC, bro. He's boring. He doesn't have any knockout power. He doesn't have any submissions. There's no reason to have like he almost lost to Diego Lopez and Diego Lopez's debut on short notice. Like to me, I know it's not all about winning and losing, but Mavzar Evloev, he has some of the least aura from like Russian. I don't think he's from Dagestan, from Russian fighters. He just there's no aura around this dude. Like whenever I see him get announced, I'm like, ugh, here we go, another snooze fest decision. Same thing about Malal Muhammad, but yeah. Moving on. Last fighter on this list in the S tier, Du Bronx, Charles Oliveira. Easy S tier. Charles, I know he lost to Armin, but hey, who knows if that fight would have went on? Who knows if he'd have locked up that guillotine if there was more time on the clock or round four or like round five against Armin. But man, like I said earlier, his fight with Makachev, just the I don't know, just his fighting style alone, like the come forward and well, he definitely fights a little bit more tentative these days, but whenever he fought Gaethje, whenever he fought Poirier, just his title run, whenever he was on that 11 fight win streak, 10 finishes, like Charles Oliveira, he's a fan favorite. His fight weeks are so dramatic. He's crying with his team. He's dyeing his hair blonde. He looks so emotional at the press conferences. Like he's just all in. And I think that alone, with his finishing potential, because he has the most finishes in UFC history and the most submissions, gives him S tier aura. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers, 100 nerds watching my channel. I appreciate that. Everyone who likes the videos I post, please like, consider subscribing, leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Call me a casual down below. I can take it. I'm going to be all right. But yeah, y'all have a good one, and I'm out.